Hello, everyone, and welcome to this In the Woods edition of Cerberus at the Improv. I am the indoor hiker. It's the closest I get to nature. I am joined by our on the scene embedded news correspondent, Mr. Timothy Knight, reporting live from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, the honest backyard. Yeah, just a few yards behind me on the other side of this woods break is the Nova Scotia Natural Resources Ministry Department, the same one of Mr. Jeff Everett.
So did you pack $25,000 with you, Tim?
Yes, but if I hang on to it to after late afternoon, it'd only be worth $18,000 because inflation. Because inflation.
The fine is connected to inflation.
The fine is connected. It was a cost of fine. Was it what cost of fine adjustment? And anyway, the joke's failing. Keep going. I'm losing the joke. Keep going.
It's off to a bad start.
Off to a rocking start.
My other co-host, I can't read the name. I've already forgotten your name. Could you refresh us? What's your name?
Joseph Stalin. I'm from Nova Scotia.
Inside counting votes.
I thought you dropped out of the election. I wasn't aware that you won.
There's no election. I count the vote.
That's right.
All right.
If you disagree, we can talk after the episode.
We'll talk later. Just remember to give me your parents' mailing address so we can send the bill for the bullet.
Just prepare a small suitcase, something light. You know, we like in Soviet Union to travel light.
Travel light.
What was the corny joke we had for why Andre's in the middle?
Oh, so he's framed by the woods, so he's virtually hiking.
He can still get fined for that,
right? Still
we were getting fined in 2021 for staying at home.
I was going to say, isn't that thought crimes? I was thinking about going in the woods. That's a crime.
All right, I'm gonna reclaim my spot in the middle, not just because of my vanity, but the camera is aligned this way.
Just
to get things started,
framing matters.
If this episode it motivates someone in Nova Scotia to go walk in the woods, are we going to get fined?
Or are we going to be charged with incitement?
Sure, or treason. I don't know.
Is this tree? T-R-E-E. Tree.
Oh God, our viewership is 9. I think it's going to go down.
Tim, you should take advice from David Mendes from Rebel News. He's used to be harassed by police.
Harassed by the police. So I'm going to be assaulted by a tree.
I was going to say Menzies also has he wears the same attire as you. He's got the same hat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Menzies hat hurts my soul.
Yeah. All right, I guess it's time to get serious. This issue in Nova Scotia, like everybody's been saying that you had the COVID lockdowns and now you have climate lockdowns, and it's been only 48 hours. I don't really see any pushback. Like, has there been any protesting of this, Tim?
There are chatter on X and some other social media saying, where is the various conservative governments across the provinces and federally, where is their pushback on this as an encroachment on what we got, mobility rights? You could do that, right? You know, freedom of association, freedom of assembly. I mean, what if you need to, we have a sturgeon moon happening, so what about all the Wiccans who need to go out into the woods and do their full moon events? Like, you want to ban them too?
Wiccan, what is it? Wiccan rights or human rights?
Wiccan are R-I-T-E-S. The jokes are real to them. Yeah. So it's and none of the quote unquote conservative politicians have said anything about it, whether that's a wait and see thing or whatnot. But in this day when news turns on a dime in 2 hours or 4 hours, if they're not responding quickly, then they're gonna drop in the algorithm and they become irrelevant, because that's where we are today. Right. Out in the
Tim,
real world, nothing moves that fast. But nowadays in social media, where all of this is happening, because this is where they're making the politicians are making their announcements in social media. Right. So they have intentionally entered into an environment where news rises and falls in a 2 4 hour period. And the other politicians haven't had anything to say about it, which is going to be interpreted as they silently agree.
Tim, you said two things. Speed of light. So,
Yep.
are we facing Canadian warp speed?
That's an interesting thought, isn't it?
The second thing that well, I disagree with you about conservative. There's one conservative that spoke very fast on this for this event. It's Tim Houston.
That kind of defines the moment, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's like
That's,
that's
yep.
why I refer to warp speed. Tim Houston,
Yep.
the Houston it's a performative language. I'd stop the wildfire immediately in 24 hours, like the Orange Man south of the border.
Right. So, which means he should get a new title now. It's called Tim Houston, We Have a Problem.
Yeah. Well, we saw this on X today. We have a problem. Yes.
We have a problem.
We really have a problem.
Well, there was a list of fines people can get in Nova Scotia for different crimes and offenses, and this brand new fine is like twice as high as anything even close to it. So this is an entirely authoritarian approach.
But it is 5 times. I think the fine that was the most expensive was $5,000 for triple murder of a prime minister. That was $5,000.
$5,000.
But it's not about this. We know it's not about wildfire. It's about control. No. It's only about control. They're so predictable and so ridiculous that I'm pretty sure in a couple of days we will see meme that will explode on the internet, because the man is a lunatic. So conservative, I'm the Pope. It's easy to say this. He's a conservative. He's not conservative at all.
I've been trying to think of a good meme, but I had to come out the backyard and put up the stupid flag and find a tree where here I am sitting in a ditch to make sure my camera doesn't fall over. This is the work of somebody who's trying to make a good meme. So all y'all out there in social media land better give us some appreciation and make some high quality memes out of this, because we work hard. Damn it. Now on to the regular programming.
We always talk about far right, far left.
Yeah.
When you go very, very far left in BC, you fall in the ocean and you arrive far left in Nova Scotia. You're not afraid to see the Canadian flag set up in fire? It can be dangerous now.
Yeah.
It's hot. Yeah. Canada is a hot country.
It's a hot country. Well, I mean, a
hot territory, not country.
Hot colony.
Hot mess. It's all a hot mess. Yeah. So the question is, how is the average person in Nova Scotia going to respond? Right? Somebody that's actually the bulk of the population, right? The quote unquote average person who really doesn't burn any energy on any of this stuff as far as critical thinking or investing themselves to any degree, which actually might be a saving grace, because when, people like ourselves step into the arena and half the time we're shadow boxing, because the people who are responsible for the things we rail against, they don't even know we exist. So the average Joe who's out there who's basically ignoring this goes, well, I can't go hiking because forest fires, but I wasn't really planning on going to the woods anyway, so it doesn't affect me directly. And which tells the government, oh, we can get away with this. Now let's tighten the envelope, right? Tighten the circle, right? Okay, so I can get you to not go to the woods. I wonder if I can get you to not go to your local park, right? I wonder if I can get you to not go to your local skating rink. I wonder if I can get you to...
You're talking about 2021?
Is it not, though?
Was arrested on a hockey rink outside at 2:00 in the morning, playing hockey alone when he was arrested by the police. alone.
Yeah.
When it was minus 25, everybody it was like what? So Back to the Future.
Yellow police tape in playgrounds.
Now it's in
How come?
forests.
Now
We're
it's a
talking
forest.
about we're talking about the center, people who live who are at the center of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
They're brain dead. They don't
And
react
Nova
unless he
Scotia,
touches them.
yeah. Nova Scotia is all woods. It's all woods. Like where do you go? So you just want people to stay indoors. Oh, so now we're sheltering indoors. Right. Where
Well,
and
I
you know,
I was referring to the Guinness World Record in America. America include Canada. When we in Quebec they imposed curfew just before Christmas, and now I see that Nova Scotia will be the world record. I was just waiting for BC to do a better job, maybe ban the
Yeah,
ferry.
on behalf of the NDP government here, I'd like to apologize. We messed up this time. We'll come up with a new strategy. Maybe we'll lock up pregnant women for their own safety. We'll
right?
come out swinging.
Yeah. Yeah. Bunch of slackers. Debbie, you slacker. Man
I
up,
mean,
buddy.
this is
Do
what
better.
we vote. This is why we vote in the NDP party to destroy
Right.
society and to set a model for the rest of the country. I mean, if
Yeah.
BC NDP, if they can't trailblaze,
You
why do
sure
we need them?
you sure you voted in NDP?
Yeah, I figure the best way to save Canada is to push it off a cliff. Just vote NDP. And
That's it's very interesting. You're referring to a Greek myth about a half god who's pushing his opponent from a cliff because he doesn't want them to replace him. I have a question for both of you, gentlemen. $28,450.52, something like that. Who's going to pay the fine? GoFundMe?
No, because he said he intends to fight it like he fought previous fines.
Okay, he will fight it
Yeah.
in court, so it will take years. $28,872.50. I like the 50 cents. He will fight it.
Yeah. He plans to fight it. He went into the office saying, you guys, this is your woods over here, right?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." And he said, "Well, I'm gonna go out in the woods and go hiking." He literally says, "I'm gonna go hiking," and they're
You
like,
know,
"Well, So
you know
he
why I
totally told them.
you know why I asked the question is because I will not talk about GoFundMe, but let's say people would support him with lawyers and he goes to court and he wins against the government. Uh, we're always supporting those causes because he's putting himself in front to defend freedom of people. And when the government attacks people directly, it is a crime. So it should be a criminal offense what they're doing now. Against the charter, it is a criminal offense. It's not only a legal offense. The government is acting like a tyrann. And this people have people have to understand because it's like the same thing with the COVID mandate. Some people they start to attack the government, and who's going to pay? Taxpayer, even if it is a criminal offense. Let's say you threat somebody with a needle. There was a case many years ago when a person had AIDS, and he was running around with needles trying to infect people, and he
Right.
was accused of being criminally responsible, threatening the life of people. That was a crime. It was a criminal offense. With the COVID mandate, they were forcing injection for
Yes.
people. That's a criminal offense. A lawyer
Yes,
could
but
say, okay, we will take this angle, and you could say after that, I do not attack the government, I attack the people who are in power. They are responsible. It's a very thin line, but we always thalidomide in 1960 when the pharmaceutical company was finally condemned. They had to pay for the victim. It's a private company. We can never prosecute a government. That's the main question. Can we prosecute a government?
And we can't because the government hides behind a corporation shell so that it protects them as individuals from criminal culpability. The best you're going to get from somebody, and this is even as high as treason, is force them to resign. So
And
the Constitution might give the citizen the right to lay charges against the person right now, because right now it's laid against the crown or against the government.
I remember 2 weeks ago or last week you used the expression corporate crown.
Yeah.
And I like this idea. The difference between Canada, for example, and United States, and maybe Payment you can jump in about the Constitution. We cannot impeach somebody in Canada. It's not in the Constitution, unless I misread, because I read
I
the
believe
Constitution.
when I was talking to Trevor Halsworth, the Parliament does have the ability to remove judges, so that's an impeachment. They just never exercise that authority. But you're right, like we can't. I don't think there's a way to impeach prime ministers. Even the party can't remove them. Yeah.
Is there a clause for treachery
In the
in
Constitution?
in time of war, for example? Somebody will not defend the country or will sell secret information. He can be accused of treason. Do we have this in the Constitution? I don't recall this.
I don't think so.
The only treason or spy story we have in my recent memory is the American husband and wife in the late 50s or early 60s, and they were American, and they were double agents, but they were working with NASA, I think it was, or something like that, and that's American. Does it happen in Canada? I don't think so. To some degree, I think the British spy stories that we grew up with reasonably explain what happens at that level when a government or a governing body or a governing individual is responsible for what would be considered an act of treason, and that is they're quietly put away.
That's what I was referring to,
Right.
Comparing United States and Canada and what happened with the Russian collusion from 2016
Yes.
to 2020. But
Yeah.
like you said, usually when they are caught, they just disappear.
Yeah.
Very discreetly. We don't see them anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all Jean Le Carré stuff, right?
Yes.
Right. With
Exactly.
the double agent is either told, get lost, right? We will never find you again, or they're put down.
Because if we we always refer to Mark Carney as the agent of the city, the clerk.
Yeah.
Dangerous clerk, but a dangerous clerk. If he's a double agent, he could be accused of treason.
Are you talking about this Mark Carney?
Yes, that's a good transition. Transition.
Pun intended. Yeah.
Sorry.
Buns intended.
Okay. I just tell you 30-second, a very short story. Many
You
years
finish
ago,
the spy story first.
I was doing poetry, and and we were with a friend. We were in a bar all the time, the same time, and we were starting to talk in rhyme. And after a certain time, always, after 2-3 weeks, we were going to the same bar. We could not talk without using rhymes. It was very funny. Now we have to be aware not to use delicate words, but it's just a warning. For the next subject, the back door.
So this I didn't say it.
That wasn't a segue. We're not there yet. I just said Mark Carney.
That's a quote. I will not from an anonymous
Nova Scotia embedded co-host.
It's the Nova Scotia Nature Reserve thing building is right over there, about 5,000 miles east of me.
Well, you can still look west, Tim, because if you have a good high sight, you look
west is that way. West is that way.
Look west over China and everything. You'll arrive in Nova Scotia. The Earth is
but where I'm sitting, west.
The Earth is round.
West is Vancouver, so it is China.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Nova, you won.
I was talking to Tom Luongo. I was talking to Tom Luongo the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, we'd love to have Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and British Columbia as well, but not Vancouver. So
Well,
please,
there's
Bob.
another very short story. I was in Paris and one day, many times, but one day I had some course at Hydro-Quebec, and the teacher was French from Paris. And I was always making joke about Paris and Parisian people, and after a certain time, he said, "You don't like Paris?" I said, "No, I love Paris. It's Parisian I don't like." He didn't
Your,
like
te-
me at all.
your teachers must have hated you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's even in Richmond, which has a very, very high population of Chinese, but they're Hong Kong Chinese, right? So from the British colony days, very, very old relationship with British Columbia, and not just as, railroads, right? But very long time business people, influential families, etc. But they're from Hong Kong. So now, since 2016, 2017-ish, with all
Since it was
right, so it's a lot of that new influence with the casino scandals and the money laundering, and now influencing the inflation of housing prices, etc. The Hong Kong Chinese say, "Oh, that's all the Beijing. That's the Beijing." So it's and they themselves have this hate on for each other.
well,
Yeah,
it's
they call it
interesting you're mentioning
mainland
Hong
Chinese.
Kong because if you
Yeah,
say
mainland.
this, it means that the Chinese grip on Canada is much more older than what we think.
Much, much older. The wouldn't, yeah, grip, influence, yeah. But now it's flat out grip.
It's a very soft grip, huh? Very soft
No,
grip.
no, it's
And
not.
and I'm gonna rein it back in now. So
Yeah, but we're not
let's go
talking about
back.
Quebec yet. He's not. It's not. Oh, it could be a good Quebec joke, couldn't it? And Carney has a soft grip on the situation.
Going back, do I have that video of you, the three of us going to jail? Going back to Nova Scotia, I think it was Andre who said that they're trying to. This isn't about the climate. This is about control.
Mm.
The fact that they put $25,000, the fine, I think that's the test. Like the Tim Houston and a couple of hookers, they're doing cocaine in the Parliament building in Nova Scotia. He's like, oh man, I wonder how much I can get away with the voters. And they're trying to come up with a number. They're like, what about $1 million? No, too high. 1,000, too low.
No, it's the
25.
The two hookers look at him and say, "It's 25,000 because you owe us $25,000."
It could be why he pulled that number out.
Well,
Pull that number out of his ass with the plug.
It's interesting you're mentioning the $25,000. Don't forget one thing. Of course, it's about control. The idea behind that, I think, a lot of politicians are blackmailed. They don't act rationally. You look at them, he arrives very, very calmly. That he's putting a ban on hiking and everything. In 2022, François Legault was Prime Minister of Quebec. He was caught on camera in a meeting, and it was McKinsey at the time that was calling the shot for the COVID mandate. And there's a small clip of 30 seconds. He gets up from the meeting, is around the table, all the people are there, and he turns around and you see his face. He's very afraid. He says, "That's what I have to say." That's, I quote, "That's what I have to say," two times. And he looks very afraid. And we hear, "Yes, that's what you have to say." Like somebody's calling the shot, and he knows he cannot oppose to that. So Houston, we have a problem. I'm sorry, Houston, there's somebody behind him who's manipulating him. They are either, come on, he's from the progressive conservative. First of all, it's an oxymoron, progressive conservative. That's the way to destroy the brain of citizens. So think about the blackmail ID. Maybe he's on the Epstein list, the list that does not exist.
Well, he's on the Panama list, the Panama Papers.
Oh yes, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So they don't act rationally. Well,
And
maybe like liberal. That's why I say he's a conservative.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm shocked as well.
and didn't he not look like he'd just gotten out from being beaten with a phone book in the closet?
He
It
looked
doesn't
like
show. Yes, it doesn't show with the phone book. It's
it
good.
looked like
Right.
he got caught, cheating on his wife, and he had to fess up while his wife and his 3 kids were in the room. Like the shame, the guilt.
Well, something like. And
Yeah,
the press conference is very short. All those press conferences, they're very
yes.
short. They never explain nothing. They just do a declaration and that's it. And after that, they disappear because their message is to deliver the message. And after that, they will not answer any question because they cannot be challenged.
There are elements of presentations like that that remind me of that episode from Black Mirror, the British politician.
The prime minister, yes,
the prime minister,
remember.
right? I don't want to explain how it goes, but because the Quebec piece is coming up and I want to use it then. But so that it's so this phenomena that I've been hearing in some conversations, a humiliation ritual. Where they are being
exactly
forced,
that.
right? They're being forced to bend the knee while delivering the message that is not theirs in a format that embarrasses them reputationally and publicly.
That episode of Black Mirror was in 2016. It's quite old, or even older, I think.
Yeah.
And you're right. The purpose is to humiliate, to discredit the person, and the person doesn't have the choice.
Yes.
There's a lot of politicians who act like this. You look at them; they're not rational. Maybe it's fentanyl. I thought it was only in BC, but.
Well, it's an absolute stripping of power, right? And for the male, that emasculation, right? That stripping of your strength, your male strength, that leaves a man more naked than the fellow who hugged Kearney. I'm really itching to get to. I'm really trying to get to the Quebec. There's Payman with the perfect timing again. That's cheeky.
I had it open the entire time. I'm not listening to you guys.
When I saw the picture, I found it very disgusting. You know why? Because the underwear, the color of their underwear don't match.
Doesn't match.
It doesn't match. Yeah. So
no taste whatsoever.
No taste, no elegance,
or a very bad taste.
For the rest, I find it okay. A whore hugging another whore. I suppose in the word bordel, they are all like that. It must be, it's friends. They're friends. Friends forever.
So the question is, who's paying who?
While you guys are talking, I was trying to find the video of Houston giving his press conference.
Asleep?
Sorry, no, I wasn't falling asleep. I'm just looking for the video of Tim Houston because, first of all, he does look like he's nervous. He doesn't want to do this, which is the second thing I wanted to say. I don't think this is part of his policy. I don't think he got into power by saying we're going to have climate lockdowns. We're a true conservative.
Well, climate lockdown is in the card for many years now. They're not hiding it. And yesterday we did a podcast on Buddhism with David Gardner, and we were talking about people who behave. We were comparing people when they are arrested. Stephen Guilbeault, when he was for Greenpeace, he was arrested by the RCMP. He's in the orange combination, and he's smiling like he's above the law. Greta Thunberg, the same thing. And we were referring to a guru in the 1965 who was arrested, and he looks like a lunatic. And he knows that he will not be prosecuted. We discovered after the man was an agent of the CIA. So you look at them, and they all behave the same way, like they are completely disconnected. First of all, they never answer to the question of journalists. First of all, you look at him, he's what can you say about this man, about his body language?
The leaning over the way he is, his arms spread out, the collar not tightened up, his hair disheveled, his body language as he's bouncing from shoulder to shoulder.
He looks like he's getting ready to surrender France to the Nazis. Like he's completely
something
deflated.
Like that. But they all when they do it.
Wait, I don't like your reference. He's Scottish. He's surrendering to the English.
That's exactly, you're right, Tim, to the English. And don't forget, this is interesting. The Whigs the Whigs in 17th century, the Whig Party, was
Yeah.
from Scotland. What arrived in the 17th century? We can refer to Baron Metal, the book of Michael Jones. He's describing this. The Whigs arrive and they start to undermine the power of the crown with usury and money. So
isn't that the Jacobites?
The Jacobites, exactly.
Laurie says Tim Houston, it looks like he just came out of the bushes.
Well,
yeah, the Jacobites, the Whigs, and the this is one of the immediate effects of the Scottish Enlightenment.
Exactly. So you arrive at a point where, when you refer to Nova Scotia, Scotia, and it's very funny because you have New Glasgow in Nova Scotia,
right?
And I live in New Glasgow, Quebec.
Yes, yeah.
So I studied a little bit the story of Cap Breton and Nova Scotia through the book of Michael Jones, and I felt like I was a total ignorant of my own history. But yes,
we are.
What you're saying, Nova Scotia, it is a subject of the crown. So he's acting, he's representing the crown, not the people. So putting a ban on the access of force like this, the command, the order comes from higher. It doesn't come from you.
About a month ago, you mentioned the Quebec MLA, was it, who said, "I don't represent the people; I represent the crown."
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
That's an astonishing faux pas, but there it is.
That's funny because in Quebec, you have the Parti Québécois who didn't want to swear allegiance to the crown when they were elected. But he was from, I think, he was a federal member of parliament.
MP.
He was from the Conservative Party. I'm not sure, Conservative Bloc Québécois. But he said that not the Bloc, but the Conservative, the Liberal, and he said, I do not represent the population. I do not represent citizens. But after that, it took 1-2 hours. He deleted his comment on X very fast, and he refused to answer any question. So Freudian slip goes very well. We could just analyze the body language of Tim Houston, and we can see Tim Roth. It was a series.
Liar.
Tell me when you lie. I forgot the title. They were
Lie to me. So it was called Lie to Me. It's fantastic.
Micro expression.
Yeah.
That you could analyze and you can decide. You can practically decipher his mind if he has any. So they're not there for citizens. There's no representation in Canada whatsoever. As soon as they are elected or they are in the elite or the caste, they don't represent people.
Well, this is you
all
just
of them, but
you just mentioned it with Greta Thunberg and the American Swami, whatever it's called, right before them, who, in the face of being arrested, they grin. Why? Because they know they're on someone else's ticket, right? They're someone else's man, and they'll be right. So it's like with undercover operations, when they pick up the undercover agent with everybody else, right? It's an effort to protect the identity of that individual. He knows damn well that if for a second he looks like he's not worried, he outs himself. Right? So, but you have these other public entities, Greta Thunberg, for example, etc., who, grinning in the face of arrest, reveal that they are protected.
Well, we can refer to Julian Assange when he was arrested, or when he escaped in the Ecuador embassy building. The man was worried. You could see in his face that he was worried. It's not the same thing with Guilbeault or Greta Thunberg, but Tim Houston, you look at him, he's not worried about wildfire in Nova Scotia. He's worried about something else, and like you mentioned, maybe something else that he cannot talk about.
Yeah. But it's something else that doesn't seem well equipped to cover?
He's not. He's not because, you know, intelligence, why we say secret services or secret intelligence, those people who are spies or double agents, they're very, very clever. There was a spy in Soviet Union. The man came from a village, but he was recruited by the KGB at the time, and he was speaking 6 languages, and he was sent to Germany during the war. Nobody could suspect that he was a Soviet Union agent. And there's a very, very beautiful series in Soviet Union, 17 Moment of Spring. It's the story of an agent like this. He's in the Nazi camp and he's spying for Soviet Union. It's if I advise people to watch this old Soviet Union movie. It's subtitled in English. It is beautiful. The actor who died today, he was incredible, and you feel it. You feel this intelligent. They are intelligent people. Tim Houston, he's just a puppet. He's just there. No substance, no idea, no debate, no charisma, especially no charisma. Look at him. Come on, be serious. You can criticize Justin Trudeau all you want, but he was buying his suit in Dubuque Mode de Vie in Montreal. I used to buy my suit there. One suit, $2,000. When I saw him in 2015, I said, "Oh, he buys his suit at the same place as I buy my suit." That was 10 years ago. Now I'm poor because I spent all my money in suits. But Trudeau, Trudeau was he's a tall man. He was elegant and he had posture. I think he studied theater, so it was helping. Look at Tim Houston. It's like Carney. Like Carney. He walks like this. He looks at his shoes like a clerk. The boss arrives.
You said clerk.
Bank.
I was going to say bureaucrat. Yeah.
Well, I prefer clerk. The boss arrives.
No. Your picture. Your words better. Your words better.
He's telling
Yeah.
him, "Hey,
Yeah.
Elbow down."
He looks hungover, but anyway, I think this presents an opportunity. If Nova Scotia, if you can get 1,000, 10,000, 25,000 people to go into the woods, that you got yourself the beginning of a political movement. If they have a recall, just have a recall in the woods. Bring the paperwork, sign here.
Yesterday during the podcast we did, David Gardner and we just popped the question about Nova Scotia because it's in the news, and he said those freaking lunatic, they will never they will never do an insurrection. They will never protest. So I will not count on that 1,000 people. Unless you
Well,
put
like I said earlier today,
elbows up T-shirt, that could work.
the elbows up T-shirt. Yeah, like I said earlier today, you made a joke about starting the Nova Scotia political party. Call it the Nova Scotia Forest Party, and the motto is "Take a hike."
Well,
and if we're at a point where to physically protest becomes a thing again, and do we have the stomach to do that twice in 10 years?
But exactly, because where did the Freedom Convoy started? In Alberta. Not in Nova Scotia, not in Quebec. Even if Quebec, there's a lot of Quebecers who went there and supported the Freedom Convoy. I think people started to feel what we could say Canadian identity, but not in BC. It started in Alberta, where you have people who are the most conservative and I will not say conservative, independent. They want to be independent. Farmer, driller companies. It's the core of capitalism, Alberta. And Nova Scotia is very far from that. Nova Scotia, what do they produce? I would say New Brunswick. Okay, New Brunswick, you have the Irving family, you have the refinery. It's a multi-billion dollar company, and the political influence is incredible from the Irving company and family in New Brunswick. Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. What is it?
Prince Edward Island has got like 3 people on it, and so New Brunswick has the Irwin family, but they also was about 20 odd years ago, maybe a bit longer, when they retooled for tech service support industry, and they got into tech in a big way, and as with like support call centers and whatnot, and that actually made a significant change to the resources that the problem. New Brunswick.
You're talking about New Brunswick, India, or
Yes.
New Brunswick, Canada?
I was going to say Brampton.
New India doing business as New Brunswick.
But what you're mentioning, you know, Prince Edward Island, 2 weeks ago, Carney lowered the price of the fees
Right.
for cross
The
the
toll
bridge.
for the bridge.
Tolls.
Yeah.
So you know, it's for 3 people, it doesn't cost a lot.
Right. So yeah, but you know,
You know,
I think he should end every public. He should end every public announcement by saying, "Am I not merciful?"
He will have to pay royalties to you, man.
Right? That would
Guys,
that be
I
Ridley
officially
Scott?
hate this. I hate this in the woods. Everything outside of this house, I hate. All I hear are cars and noises, people bickering outside. This sucks.
Well, I like it.
Well,
My
you know,
backyard's
there
so nice.
was I forgot who was singing this. Knock on wood. It was
Were you going to
1990s.
sing?
No, of course not.
Oh,
Of course not, because
we're going to lose
but
whatever.
we're out in the wood. We're out in the woods. Somebody has to have a guitar. Somebody has. We're out in the woods. Somebody has a guitar. Somebody can sing. We can light a little fire.
Tim, Andre and I will hold the fort. You go inside. You get some sunflower seeds. I want to get a Cinderella moment where like a bird comes and lands on your shoulders.
Well,
right.
You talk about the guitar, the fire camp. When I was living near the St. Lawrence River, we were doing fire camps every day.
Yes.
And we lived with that.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't have a machine gun. That was a little bit. But today, I would say, Mr. Backyard Harker, alias Elliot Ness,
right.
Where's your machine gun?
Yeah, my machine gun's in the shop. Yeah.
No. You call this the Parliament of Canada, I suppose? In the shop?
In the shop.
With the firearm ban.
That would be okay. So if I say anything more, I'm pitching for Cabela, and I want my money. But there it is.
Yes.
We
see the resemblance.
So,
you know.
So then what I have is a Timmy gun.
The tie, and he's you're right-handed. That's good.
I'm right-handed. Yeah. So just so the police know, it's these 2 fingers you want.
I have one last question. Do lefties? Do you have any right-handed in lefties people?
My father was actually left-handed. He was raised in Catholic schools, and they tied his left hand behind his back and made him learn to write with his right hand.
My father was doing the same thing. I'm left-handed. You know what was happening when I was writing? When I was 5, 6 years old, starting to learn how to write, I was writing with my right hand and my left hand. And when
ambidextrous.
Yes, but what was happening? I was much faster with my left hand. So when my father was going to the bathroom, I was switching, and I was writing. And I write like a right-handed man. I push on my pencil.
Yes.
What happened? My hand was dirty. My father was coming back from the bathroom, lifting my left hand and smiling, saying, "I caught you." But it was in the 60s, and after that they stopped the practice. So now I'm an invalid.
Yeah. Well, they realized that left-handed children were not from the devil. They were from the neighbor. That's why they look so much like the milkman.
Well, in French, left, it is gauche. But in Italian and Latin, sinistra.
Yes, we talked about that ages ago. Yes, sinister is the left hand.
Sinister
the left hand
is the hand of the devil. So let's say, do you think Tim Houston is a left-hander? That would be interesting to watch.
Go back to the video. There's a way to tell. It's not 100%, but there's a way to tell. You go back to his video, not now, but some other time, and when he has his hands placed down on the podium, and he shifts his weight, whichever way he shifts his weight first, that's his leading foot,
Yes,
right? And whichever shoulder lifts first, that's his dominant hand.
you are right. So that's what I was referring to. Body
Yeah,
language, you can see
yeah,
if the man is has a
yeah.
twisted brain like me because I'm left-handed. So strangely, I'm a right man, man from the right or the center,
The doigt.
but I'm left-handed.
Man, when I don't interrupt you guys, the show really goes off the rails. We're talking about body language.
This is why you're the anchor.
I wanted to. Who was I talking to about this? I haven't heard anything from any one of my friends, anyone in my circle about what's going on in Nova Scotia.
You have friends since you know us.
Well, that's the other thing, but let's glossing over that. My parents had a house party, like a dinner party. There was about 40 people there.
Thursday night, yes, I remember.
Yeah. And I'm looking around. None of them. Not only do they not know, they don't care. Even if they did know, they wouldn't care. And if they did care, they would support this. Have you heard anyone? Have you talked to anybody that's even brought this up?
Nobody.
I cannot.
Just us.
Because I live in the forest like a bear.
Just us. Yeah.
And you can identify as a bear. You can go in the forest. They were showing yesterday on X. They were showing a boutique where they sell costume of bear, and the sales were skyrocketing.
I'm wondering, right?
It was funny. There was this meme about Nova Scotia for Palestine.
The hiking thing.
The hiking.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It's just
March for Palestine with the RCMP leading the march through on a hike through Nova Scotia woods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it could be, and maybe it will introduce the next subject, LGBT for Nova Scotia.
You could do a pride parade through the forest. You got to be smart about this. You got to support Palestinian statehood while in the forest. So if they catch you, be like, I'm a gay guy. I'm a gay Palestinian. What are you gonna do?
Right.
You know what people were doing. I always talk about Russian people or Soviet Union people. They say something, they think something else, and they do something differently. Why? Because they were always afraid of being repressed, arrested. So they developed a strategy of communicating between each other without a direct way to say what they think. I know I'm married to a Russian woman, so it's even
is that
worse
why
with a
Crime
woman.
and Punishment is 5,000 pages long?
Yes,
he writes one thing and then the story says another thing, but the subtext is another thing.
Well, that's a Russian behavior. I'm talking more about Soviet Union later. But what poetry is the same thing. When you say something, if you want to offend somebody, you can say it in his face. If he's 225 pounds, 6 feet 3, and you want to offend him, you say something that he will catch 2 weeks later, or that he will not catch at all. The humor is for you, not for him.
That's true. That's fair.
What payment you're saying is be more wise than those people. We can be more wise. It doesn't mean that we will not protest or go to the forest to defy the authority. When the authority is tyrannic, you have to defy it. It's not a joke. But playing with them, we can do this.
Does that mean that we are the lowbrow offended Euros? And we lack cunning.
Well, yes, I think we are.
So is that us? So the left is actually more sophisticated?
No, they're not more sophisticated. They comply more to an ideology.
Right, but they're the ones who are bending the current mores.
No.
And they're doing it.
It's not the left. Just to make a distinction, it's not the left. It's the leadership on the left that's better organized, and sophisticated.
So I'm not upset with the dog's teeth. I'm upset with his jaw.
Well, you're talking about the
Sure.
pit bull. You're no, but he's right. My wife's always saying, in the man is the head, the woman
Yeah,
is the neck.
yeah.
The woman is the neck.
Oh,
So the
yeah, yeah.
neck decides where the head
Yes.
goes. And when you refer to this payment, don't forget one thing: the left, or the people representing the left, they comply to a lack of moral. We all agree that if we go to a forest, we will not do a fire cap if the risk is extreme because of the weather is very dry. It's been 3 weeks that it doesn't rain here in Quebec. The land is cracking. I would be completely stupid to do even a small fire, because I may start something. And there was an RCMP agent, I think it is in BC, who admitted that they started a fire to protect the forest, but those morons, they could not control the fire that they start. That's a technique for firefighters.
It's called
They burn
backfire or back. Yeah, yeah.
they burn a certain
Yeah.
area to protect something, and they avoid the fire to progress. But they did a mistake. So I look at this. It's not only evil; it's incompetence. They are incompetent, and we see more and more. Will not accuse the young generation, but the young generation, maybe we'll talk later about the lack of experience in Ontario. The young generation, I'm on Facebook since 1 year. I see posted of young people who buy a house, if they can, of course, and they ask very, very naive question. How do I unclog my sink? How do I do this? And I'm like, wait, I will call a plumber, of course, $125 per hour, and it will charge you $80 just to come at your house. How to unclog your sink? You go to Home Depot, you go to a hardware store, you buy a siphon, and you try. They are clueless because they are in technology. They were born in technology. They don't have any manual skill. A lot of them, because
They
they're
weren't
on
taught.
computer. They were,
They weren't
yes,
taught.
they weren't taught. It's not because they're stupid.
Yeah.
They weren't taught about how to act on the day-to-day basis. So I look at politicians like Tim Houston. Is he a statement? 3 weeks ago, I wrote, "Is there a statement in the room?" Is he a statement? There's no statement. There's no person who will arrive and represent the people, have charisma, uh, a good sense of humor, being able to respond to journalists and in an intelligent way. I'm not a fan of Rebel News, but Rebel News is relevant. I remember last during the election, he was not invited at the press conference, and he was there, and he was there because it is press, it is free press, and the journalists at CBC started to attack him, and how he responded to them, he had class, he had intelligence, he had a sense of humor. He knew how to play with words. That's what I expect from a journalist, but that's what I would expect from a statesman, from a politician. You don't see this. And Tim Houston is the representation, or the artifact. He represents incompetence.
He's the premier of an entire province, and he's standing at that podium with the same general posture and exasperation and tiredness as Bonnie Henry did at the end of the COVID nonsense, because
Well,
she
that's a
was
very
right.
good.
Right? She was worn out. She was frazzled, and she had done the whole overbearing mother thing for 4 years.
Well, you
And
mentioned something, the word fragile. Last week, that's funny. Safeway. It's a hardware store or a convenience
Groceries.
store in
food
Alberta.
grocery store, yeah,
And somebody was offended. Somebody was fragile because he went to the store and he saw an Alberta flag.
yeah,
Immediately, they removed the flag.
yeah,
And what did I do? When I saw this, I said, that's interesting. I go on X, I copy the picture of the Alberta flag, and I go on the Safeway account. I send the DM. I just copy and paste the flag.
yeah.
Immediately, my X account is blocked. immediately, oh, you. It's
That's
after that,
incredible.
I was a little bit more wise.
Yeah.
I posted a picture of Safeway and a picture of Alberta flag, and I wrote on the top, "Is it better like this?" And I posted. So you see, playing with the algorithm, playing with those people who think that they are intelligent, it's more easy than we think. The concept of meme is this concept of cartoon, how they play with cartoonists, how they play with humor to mock politicians. I remember you could say I dislike Pierre Trudeau or Brian Mulroney, but they were laughing at jokes like this. Today, politicians they are offended. They're fragile. They're castrated. Men are castrated. Canadian men are castrated. I thought it was only Quebec, but now I see it's more national.
No, it's nationwide. Yeah.
Before leaving this topic, one thought came to mind, and I posted about this: whether or not this Jeff Evely, the gentleman's name is Jeff Evely, who got hit with the $28,000 fine, whether or not his situation picks up steam and it actually goes somewhere, it depends on whether people get behind him and they support him, either financially or through protests and spreading his message, or if they start attacking him because of some little thing he did back in the day. The right does this all the time. Oh, Jeff Evely had 3 parking tickets he didn't pay. He's not a good friend.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting what you're mentioning, because Éric Duhem, who's the leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, and there's a by-election Monday, and they're neck to neck or head to head with the Parti Québécois, 37%, 37%. Duhem for he didn't pay his municipal tax 1 year. And now the media, they attack him all the time on this. While his opponent, Alexandre Boissonneau, who was an ex-journalist of Radio-Canada, was caught with a smoke bomb at the America Summit in 2002 and did 45 days of jail. And they attack Duhem like it is a crime when they look at Boissonneau, who's the candidate for the Parti Québécois, who did 45 years in jail because he had a smoke bomb and he wanted to attack the America Summit.
How much damage? How much damage did Stalin cause in that train heist? Right. So, yeah. Well, Stalin was the thug before he got into the party, right? And he actually orchestrated a train robbery.
Yes, you're right. You're right. But don't forget one thing. This type of extremism. Think about Stephen Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault for Greenpeace. He was arrested, and then he became Minister of Environment.
Yes.
Many hard worker, or they are a union worker, union representative. Sometimes when they leave, they are hired by the management. I saw this many times at Hydro-Quebec. People who were union leader, suddenly they become manager. Suddenly they just cross the board. They cross the floor. From one party to another. It's a big family.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend if I pay him enough.
Yes, and that's why we always use the expression uniparty.
Yeah.
So, what else do we have? Quebec Pride. Andre, you've been talking a lot today, but this is your story, so maybe you should speak to this as well. What happened in Quebec?
Well, it's a small event. The Gay Pride. It's always funny. It's always funny, but the Jewish LGBT plus. I'm sorry because the G is not in LGBTQIA plus. So maybe they will have this letter next week. They ban the organization, the Jewish LGBT organization. They banned this organization from the gay parade in Montreal. And after that, what happened? Of course, they backtracked because they understood that they were. It's like the snake is eating his tail. It's very funny to see those movements because now with what is happening in Gaza, there's a lot of people who are, against Zionism, against government of Netanyahu. We can see it everywhere. We can even refer to McCartney, who wants to recognize Palestine. But it's very funny. It's like Trudeau. I will resign.
I intend.
We will
I intend.
recognize. I intend to resign. We intend to recognize Palestine. We're waiting for somebody to step up, and then after that, like good Chihuahua, we will follow somebody else. Or like when it will be the time, Mark, you can recognize now. It will be the time now. Just go do a press conference. By the way, we will send you the text. So the gay parade, it's very funny because the gay parade is the movement is collapsing. Very simple. The movement is collapsing
because intersectionalism eats itself.
Exactly, and that, maybe we will not spend a lot of time on that because
the trick is getting your legs up high enough for the eating.
What's the name of this young girl, Sweeney? What's her first name? I forgot.
Sydney Sweeney. Was that the American Eagle commercial?
Yes, yeah. And the jeans. They
yes.
are the left and the woke are going ballistic because common sense will be: you see a beautiful woman with a nice pair of jeans. She's young. It is amazing how people were brainwashed with this woke ideology that did not even exist in 2015.
Yeah.
Gays and lesbians in Canada were in peace because we have freedom of speech, freedom of thoughts, and for many, many years, and suddenly it becomes a cult. And like you said, Tim, it eats itself. It cannot. It will just collapse by itself. DEI collapsed.
Yeah.
Because DEI was. We saw the plane.
The Boeing.
In Pearson and Pearson Airport, the crew were all women. Okay, I have no problem with a women pilot. Are you competent? If the answer is no, you don't fly a plane. Yes. So the movement now in Montreal, and it's very funny, Montreal, it's a very gay structure, the gay village. And there was an interview from Alexa Lavoie with two gay men in the gay village, and they were asking about Palestine. She was asking about Palestine, about what is happening, and she was kind of pushing that. She was asking not about Palestine, she was asking about Hamas. And the young man who's gay started to answer to Alexandra Lavoie, talking about what is happening with the genocide, what is happening, and he was pushing her, and she was trying to paint him. Usually, she's very professional. She was trying to paint him like it will become an anti-Semite comment and everything. It was very funny. Coming from the gay village, you have a young man. He's gay, but he's answering the right answer, and it did not please Alexandra Lavoie. Don't forget, it's Rebel News. Rebel News, it's Ezra Levant. So they have a bias. They have a bias,
right.
And she was instead of just listening to the answer, she was trying to push the Hamas ideology in front instead of just listening to the person. You ask a question, listen to the answer.
Yeah.
And the movement now in Quebec is having problem, but BC Pride show or Pride Parade was defund 50%, and they said, "Oh, we will still have the parade, the Pride parade, but 50% less sponsor,
50% less clothes."
If you see an idiot making a fool of himself, don't stop him.
That's right. Yeah, and so the sad thing is these marginalized groups or groups on the margin, they're being manipulated by agents and agencies above them in the shadows, so that they turn these groups, they turn them into their poster child to create a certain instability in the social fabric. And when they're finished with them, they run them over. They bury them under the bulldozer of progress buries them under too.
Yes, but you know, Tim, they had their 15 second 15 minutes of glory.
Yeah.
They had their and after that they're happy. But you're right. They're instrumentalized. They're manipulated.
Yeah.
That's why I was referring to people in the middle. People who don't think a lot. They comply. Their life is good as long as it doesn't touch them. But
Andre, I agree with both of you. The damage that they do, like they get used and then they bulldoze over them, but they get the job done, and the
Yes, they
damage
do.
that they've done through this
Yes.
LGBTQ thing. I didn't go to Pride, but I happened to be driving through downtown, and I'm watching these people. They're waving the transfer. They have no idea what that thing made. Like they're just. I don't understand why they're there. Maybe they're there because it's like a picnic sort of thing for them. And in the backdrop of this, 1 week before Pride in Vancouver, they canceled or they didn't give the permit for that Christian singer.
That's right.
Like that is your prime.
Don Fudge.
Sorry, yeah, but like that's a perfect signal that your society is falling apart. So what
it's the
religious text says
arbitrary.
is ignored.
It's the arbitrary of totalitarianism. It's a component or a characteristic. You change the goalpost. You change them.
Done.
You just displace them. Today it
Yeah.
is $25,000 in Nova Scotia. Tomorrow it will be something else. We change it. Oh, you don't comply. It's very funny. We can talk about StreamYard. StreamYard, suddenly they changed their policy. Me, I have a free license from StreamYard because I don't want to pay because I don't do a lot of podcasts. Suddenly they decide that they changed their policy and it's 5 hours per month. They change them all the time. We are dependent from what we rent, they can change anytime because they control the narrative. The government, they act like this too. And then they use group like the LGBT. LGBT, it was what? It was LGBT. And T was for transsexual, not transgender, because transgenderism did not exist 10 years ago. You go to the DSM-5 of the American Psychiatrists Association, it's considered a mental disease. Today, they want to have their Overton window. They want to please everybody. When you try to please everybody, you displease everybody, or you infuriate everybody. So the gay and lesbian, and I have some gay friends. I can guarantee you, they don't like the gay parade. I have a gay friend. He lives in Montreal, and one day I said, "Why you don't live in the village?" He said, "You crazy or what?" So a wise man, an intelligent man, a cultivated man, and I have got many conversations with him, and he was saying, "This is a cult. I don't want to live in a cult." And the cult, one day, the guru, what arrived, the guru, they lose their charisma. They rise fast, they fall fast.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this multiple times. I live in Whistler, and Whistler is a resort town. And I kind of look at the people coming. You can tell who's American based on the hats they wear, the clothes, the license plate. And there is a lot of pink and blue-haired, heavy, overweight women that are American. They're coming up from Washington, and you got like a mom with pink hair, blue hair, who's got like 3 kids with her. Like, what kind of an example are you setting for your kids if you happen to go for the exact color of mold for your hair, like blue or green? It's the ugliest color.
She believes that she's a progressive woman.
I'm sure she does.
She really believes that she's a progressive woman, and the dysphoria, because it's not really a mental disorder, it's more a dysphoria. Well, wait, what's the right word? It's a rapture of sorts, right?
Yes.
It's a rapture of sorts. So caught up in the idea, I'm somebody, right? I don't care that my husband left me for whatever. I don't care that I'm overweight. I don't care that I spend too much money on garbage food. I don't care that my 3 screaming kids hate me. I am a symbol of, I'm a strong, independent woman. And that self-reinforcing, that's an ego. But
Yes,
it's just
that's
not
ego.
health, right? It's an ego. It's an ego. And it's reinforced by people who are happy to have useful idiots parade in public and be jerks, because that's not. They might come up to Whistler or whatever with their 3 screaming kids, and sometimes the kids are actually nice, but they don't What did Jordan Peterson say? Some people wake up and they can't wait to be offended. That's this group. They can't wait to be offended.
You mentioned something, Tim, the ego. Yesterday, my wife and I, we went to the shopping center. I wanted to buy a new tie. It's my new tie. And my wife, she's 5'6", and she weighs 90 pounds when she got out of the shower. She's so thin that it is not possible. We were at the shopping center. Everybody was, I would not say fat, but I would say big, wearing tights, wearing pants that and my wife, she said, I look dystrophic. I said, you maybe I will say that you come from Africa because, and why I talk about the ego, because they don't see each other, because when they meet, they cross people, they recognize the other person. It's everywhere, and they cannot be aware. Go to Thailand and you go there and you see women there, you will have a shock. You will have yes. Thank you, Doc Beb. Walmart shoppers. You go to Thailand and you see women there, and you say, this is a woman. I thought that was a woman. You're taking the same payment with pink hair, and they don't see each other. Like you said, Tim, it's their ego that is walking ego.
And as opposed to a hyper feminization, like you're mentioning from Southeast Asia, instead of a hyper feminization, North American women push for the middle of the curve. Right? So they intentionally push toward mediocrity and they elevate that. Right? So every day of the week is Wednesday. Right?
We see this with I'm sorry, with Melanie Jolie. It was very funny this week because a pro-Palestinian group went in front of his building. She lives on the third floor of a triplex. I was shocked. I said, she's a minister in the cabinet of she was a minister in cabinet of Trudeau, and now a minister in cabinet of Carney, and she lives there. I said, wow, I'm impressed. It was very ordinary, but they were shooting like with a laser pro-Palestinian message on the wall, and mediocrity. The woman is a mediocre woman, and we make this as the average. We make this as a template for politicians. That's very sad, and like you said, there's a lot of people who get caught in this type of manipulation.
Yeah.
After that, they're thrown away.
Yeah, and I again leaning toward some cultural mercy is. Yeah, maybe a high percentage of that particular demographic have had it kind of rough, like fatherless homes, or mother was whatever you want to say that created it, because we know that these things are true across large parts of the population, but the blue hair, pink hair, the overweight, the neck tattoos, right? The tattoos on the back of the calves, all the yoga pants, and you really not be. This is branding.
It's branding.
Like I look at it, right? I look at it from a marketing perspective, because you remember the bikers when we were kids. That was a brand, right? So, and Hollywood taught us the value of brands. Oh my goodness, what a great time to forget the name of a movie. West Side Story. That's about branding, right? Right. Go ahead.
No, it's because I'm reading The Dangers of Beauty of Michael Jones, and he's referring exactly to West Side Story. Right. The branding. Right. You're right. This is a very good example.
And intersectionalism takes the brand and says, well, okay, so let's say the maple leaf is a brand, right? Then you take that and you make one half red and one half blue. And then before you know it, you got it all in all the colors, right? And that's an example of intersectionalism. So where we don't know where to draw the line anymore, and we continue to draw new lines, right? Like I did a logo a couple of months back where I took a maple leaf, I put red behind one half and blue behind the other half, where the maple leaf itself is white. So that's a very obvious signaling, right? Red and blue, right? So very obvious signaling. But what happens when you end up with a circle that has the 17 SDG on it? Is that not an example, a pictorial example of intersectionalism?
Well,
Right?
do you
So
remember? Go ahead. Sorry.
so when people are dressing and behaving and signaling, dog whistling, whatever you want, a coded language, etc., they're literally saying, "I am of this tribe," right? Show me some respect.
Well, I will not use. I don't like to use the expression identify, but I would say instead, because it's pejorative. I recognize myself in something. Do you
Yeah,
remember? And maybe younger viewers, if we have any, will remember. You said the 17
yeah,
sustainable goal. Do you remember Lifesaver candy?
yeah, absolutely.
They were exact. There was one flavor that had all the flavor, and it
That's
was
right.
round exactly like the
Yeah.
17
So
sustainable goal.
right.
So and
So
it was brand 50 years ago. Did they recycle the idea? I don't know, but it's
what I would,
interesting.
when you draw that connection, then I would suggest, if there is a connection, then that round circle and structure and the color of that particular SDG logo intentionally speaks to Gen Xers who are familiar with Lifesavers and all of the marketing and culture and story and symbology that was behind Lifesavers, because Lifesavers were, well, there's nostalgia, right? It's a comfort food, so to speak. They're
Yes.
intentionally speaking and drawing my generation, the Gen Xers.
Well, the expression lifesaver. And don't
Yeah.
forget one thing: the circle is the representation of a woman. Because in psychology it's the representation of a woman, something that is close, something
Yeah.
that is comforting. We are in a feminized society. Everybody's offended today. What do you do? When we had duel, you were offended. I throw a glove in your face and we go outside and we settle up with the pistol. You
Yeah.
remember, between men, did you ever see any duel between women? That did not exist. But
No,
today,
because they got, no, they did, because they got their men to do it. Right? Because most duels
exactly,
were over women. You slighted my
exactly. But
woman. Whack. Right?
exactly, but what you
So
were referring to,
uh,
intersexuality, or this, the fact that you make the border disappear. There's no difference between outside and inside.
it seemed like I wasn't paying attention. I was looking for files. So when Tim, you said it's a branding,
Yes.
let me bring this up. I won't play the audio. It's like super loud. It's a meme. It's a joke about this. Here's typical woman on the left. It says, "I want everyone to know I paint swastikas on Teslas." It's like they're proud of looking. To me, that's hideous. Like if I saw that at the bar, I would either like walk away or go home, unless I was
No,
really drunk.
run.
Run. But like you look at, who was that monster of a woman, that Teresa Tam? Like she just
Yes.
looked like she'd never heard of the concept of makeup. That's on purpose. Bonnie Henry, that's on purpose. The
Well,
Squad, that bald lady, on purpose. But then on the Trump side, he brings in like supermodels.
Yes.
if I could
Yeah.
just tell a short story, 30 seconds. I hope you will stay my friend after this. In 1990, I had a period where I was with punk people, and I had long black hair. And one night I was with one of my friends. I wear very short leather short, tight T-shirt, and we go in a gay bar in the village. And we arrived there. I had a lot of gay friends. We were very polite people. I go there in a gay bar with one of my friends, and we start to have a drink, a scotch, and everything. And after a certain time, I sat on a couch, and there's a big man, about 6'2", built like Schwarzenegger in leather, and he passed in front of me. He turns around, he looks at me, and he smiles at me. So I got up. I went to see my friend. I said, "Let's get out."
Andre, Show on the doll where the big man touched you.
No, but the idea is that you go there. It was what I would say inclusive environment, gay village. You go there because there was some show from the transsexual people, and at the time I was single. I go there, but when I saw the look on the face of the man, I said, no, it's not my place here. I go out. But just to say that you can get caught in a ideology, like people today, they get caught in this ideology with LGBTQ and 2+ and the S for two spirit, because
Yeah.
native people started to feel rejected, so they added, so they will take all the letter of the alphabet eventually, that's for sure, except maybe
And
the G.
and I'll say plainly that the 2+ or two-spirited thing is an intentional mind fuck to young Native peoples in Canada. They're
Exactly.
intentionally twisting elements of their older culture and their idea, their worldview, intentionally to get them to use that to create dysphoria within their culture.
Exactly, because
And that, to me, that's evil.
well, that's
That's
evil. You
evil.
see, 2S for two spirit, you
Yeah.
refer to animism, the
Yes.
spirit in object, which is
Yes.
part of the native culture. You're right. They try to bring them in their brand, which is
So then what do they do? Then they create a problem and they have the solution,
always the same.
right?
Always
So
the same
right,
strategy.
and the solution is is to give you a new tribe in the LGBT community. So we create a problem by completely fucking your culture over, and then we create another problem by wrecking your identity and giving you no respect and no honor, and you're surrounded by the dysphoria and the dysfunction in your community and the culture around it. But we're going to give you a new family, and they're all LGBT over there. So they create a problem
Exactly.
and offer the solution.
Don't forget
I,
young generation, young people from
It's
14,
unbelievable.
14 to
Uh,
20, 25. They are psychologically fragile. It's
yeah,
normal. They try to find an identity. If they don't have the identity in their tribe, native
yeah,
tribe or
yeah,
native culture, they will go somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah.
we're almost approaching 90 minutes. I am so exhausted. I can't find there it is. 100 I'm an hour 22 minutes. We've covered a lot. We spent a lot of time on the Nova Scotia one. We had another one on youth in Toronto, but whatever. Screw the youth. That's what the government does anyway.
Okay, so the synopsis of the youth is a news report said that that there was a survey, and the survey said we don't really have a immigration problem. We have a lack of experience among the youth workers problem. So yeah, that's the angle they're using now, which is nonsense.
Well,
So
Tim, there's one thing
Ministry of
about
Truth right there.
oh yes, you're right. Experience. You're
Yeah.
18 years old. Let's say you went to
Right. Yeah.
let's say you went to college, or even you have high school. You get out, you do 1-2 years in electricity, and you start to work as an apprentice. You don't have experience, you don't have knowledge. You have some basic skills, and you will expect to have a senior electrician will mentor you, will teach you. You will have your card. Slowly you learn, and you have a slow progress from going out from high school. If you go to college, it's a little bit more uh, evolved, or a bit more complicated. Then you go to university. You cannot expect somebody who does 5 years or 4 years in university to get out and have the experience of a 40-year-old man or 40-year-old
Yeah.
woman. So you need a certain training. You need and what do you have now? You have a generation, the millennial. They get out of school brainwashed also, because we know how it was, how it
Yes.
is, the DEI, and we don't teach math because it is racist. So they get out with a diploma, and they lack knowledge, and they lack experience. And what do the companies? What do? They will hire people who have either experience or competence, and they will say we will hire immigrants. And oh, by the way, we will receive subsidiary for the government for 60% of their salary. What is happening? Young generation are demoralized because they don't have the chance to prove their knowledge, and uh, they're not practicing. You have to practice. Let's say you study biology, you get out and you work in a laboratory as a technician. You need the job. You need the first job, maybe putting the pills in the pot for the
Yes.
pharmacy. Something that is
Yes.
simple, and slowly you learn. This is not
Yeah.
what we're seeing now because they cannot even work at Tim Horton for a summer
No.
job. They're not hired, so they lose their
It's funny you say that.
self-esteem.
Wolf says right then, right before you started, he goes, "Meanwhile, every job fair you go to looks like a cityscape from India." So,
Well,
Yeah.
that's another question. Do we trust? My wife and I, we go pick up berries in the small farm. They're all young. They're all 14, 15 years old. But I live in a village far from Montreal. There's no immigrant. They're worse. Why? Because people around local, they are the son or the daughter of the neighbor. He's 14, 15 years old. He's in high school, and they they have the chance to start working while they study in summer,
Yeah.
and then slowly they integrate the society. It's not what we see with immigration. Immigration this not only destroy the balance of demography. It's forbidding young generation to have a future, whether you are an electrician, a driller, or a salesman, or a doctor. This is the problem of immigration. Is only that it's also the danger of ghettoization of the society. People will start to live in tribes, in ghettos, and you go to a shop, you cannot be served. And now it's I see this is very dangerous. Me, I'm 65. What can happen to me? Okay, when I will be old, they will change my diapers. Who cares? It's not important. Young generation, 18, 20, 22, 23, cannot find a job because they don't have any experience. You don't have experience when you're 18. Sorry, this is a stupid excuse to forbid those young people to have an initiation in labor force.
That excuse is part of the rationale for a Canadian employer to use the temporary foreign worker employee wage subsidy to get a temporary foreign worker at half rate, and they don't care that they're not qualified because they're being subsidized. And then the employer goes out and says, "Made in Canada, elbows up. By the way, I'm screwing over our own citizens and I'm making a buck on it." They are the entire problem.
the funny thing is,
Well,
all this entire fraud operation is funded and supported by us, the taxpayer.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
subsidy is taxpayer money. The
Yeah,
fact that you, the three
yeah,
of us, are not out there with pitchforks,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
supporting it.
It's
they
yeah,
but it's so slow. It is so slow that the government is impoverishing people. It is so slow that people don't feel it. I can talk about it. I'm a French frog. Put a French frog in a in a pot and boil the water. Maybe the French fry is not a good example because we're a little bit stubborn in Quebec. But the
the
idea
meat's
is,
pretty
yeah,
tough. I'll be
the meat,
honest.
the meat is tough. Yes,
Yeah,
frog legs. But anyway, the idea, you're right, payment, and it is very slow. The poverty is rising. The opportunities for young generation are not there. And what will happen? Eventually, you lose this force. Young generation, they are the force, the future of Canada. If we do not give them a chance to make a place for themselves in society, in the labor force, they will one day retaliate. They will take their revenge. They will stop progressing in the society, and then you will see criminality going up, because you have to keep them busy in the sense that you have to help them find their own way to participate in the society. It is not, and I think the political leader now are cowards and traitors. They betrayed young generation, and they hypnotize the older generation, thinking that it will be okay, pension plan. No, it does not work. The labor force is there. The young generation, they're clever, but they don't have any opportunities.
So then Carney will eventually propose a simple solution to that, and that's called conscription.
Oh, that's, well.
Did he not just make, right? Did he not just make, right? Yeah, well, he just made an announcement that he's raising the basic income for soldiers.
For soldier.
And it just said that we're going to be increasing the number of soldiers in the Canadian forces, and increasing the number in reserves, and making physical boots on the ground contribution to NATO. So he'll take all those Canadian-born kids that are struggling to get into the workforce and just conscript them. And well, we won't take the immigrant kids because they're working and they're essential workers, and they have the Muslim values, don't you know? And they'll just take the weight, right?
Well, he has to go fast, because August 15 comes fast.
Is that the Ides of August?
August 15.
Sturgeon Moon.
The meeting between Putin and Trump in Alaska. So we can imagine NATO. You can imagine an agreement or a ceasefire or a peace treaty in August 15, which I doubt. I don't think it will happen. I don't. But if Putin accepts to go in Alaska to meet Trump, what will be the outcome for Canada, especially now that we want to join? Supposedly, we want to join the European Union and everything.
Right. So that we are not friends. Yeah.
I don't want to drag out the show, but like strategically, this is the worst effing time to join Europe, as the UK is basically going to.
Well, the big problem is if you're in Canada and you have Russia in Alaska, and you have United States on the south border, you can receive a bomb on your head from the north or from the south. You're in the middle.
Years ago, I said that I expected the Fourth Caliphate to be established first in Germany, then Britain and France, but it would be a very, very long time before it was established in North America, because ocean. However, if Canada has a tight relationship with Europe, it will happen at the same time.
Yes, synchronicity.
Yeah, and they'll have nukes.
That's what I was saying. The first Muslim country who will have the nuclear bomb, it's not Iran, it's Great Britain.
Oh, fuck.
On that note, let's end the show. I got to go get ready for some other stuff, and I don't know. The last thing I'll say is, if anybody, go support Jeff Evely, and do something. Put an end to this before it spirals out of control.
We should end the episode with the music from Teddy Bear Picnic.
Next time.
Yeah. Yes, it's already Pakistan.
Yes.
London is sent.
Good. Well, London is sent.
Maybe Pakistan is a colony of Great Britain.
Kanakistan.
All right. Thank you to the audience, and I'd like to thank my co-hosts, and we'll see each other next week.
I gotta finish my hike. It's a long way back to BC from Nova Scotia.
Timothy, do you really want to start a forest fire? Get back inside, man.
Yes, Dad. Jeez. You're no fun. Good night.